Hey everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and we're doing another lotion experiment. I wanted to do an experiment with a lotion that had close to 80% water. So that's what we're trying tonight. So let's go over the recipe. Remember, for a lotion, we have a water phase, an oil phase, and a cool down phase. The water and the oil, I've measured out all my ingredients, and I'm about to place them in a water bath, and I'm going to heat them to 75 degrees Celsius and hold them there for 20 minutes. And then after they're all melted, I'll bring those out, let them cool down to around 50 degrees Celsius, and then we'll add in our cool down ingredients. Okay, so the recipe. In our water phase, we have 313 grams of water, 4 grams of sodium lactate, and we're using sodium lactate because it has been found to improve the barrier properties of the skin. So it helps to reduce transepidermal water loss, so it keeps all the water in your skin. And it's also believed to stimulate the skin and help it sort of regrow, as well as the synthesis of the skin itself. Oh, and I'm sorry, as well as applying to the plasticity of our skin. And then we have 2 grams of allantoin, and allantoin is an ingredient that helps the cells to regenerate, and it's approved by the FDA for temporarily preventing and protecting against chafed, chapped, cracked, and windburned skin by speeding up the natural process of the skin and increasing the water content. Okay, so that's in my water phase. In my oil phase, I have 15 grams of emulsifying wax. This happens to be Crafter's Choice Soft and Silky E-Wax. I have 8 grams of cetyl ester, and I'm using the cetyl ester in place of cetyl alcohol, and the cetyl ester should help to give a silkier feel but keep the consistency thinner. Cetyl alcohol will tend to thicken it a bit, so I'm going for a very light, thin lotion. So that's why I'm using cetyl ester. 4 grams of isopropyl myristate, and that's an astringent, an emollient, and it helps to reduce the greasy feeling of the lotion. It also helps other ingredients to penetrate the skin, so the skin gets all their goodness, and reduce the residual that's left behind by other ingredients. For my oils, I have 8 grams of shea butter, and then I have a total of 24 grams of oils. 10 grams of olive oil, 11 grams of rice bran, and 3 of avocado. I was supposed to do 10 of olive and 10 of rice bran and 4 of avocado, but I over poured my rice bran a little bit. So it's 10 of olive, 11 of rice bran, and 3 of avocado. Okay, and then in my cool down, I have 4 grams of cyclomethicone, which helps with sheeting and has a transient emollient property, meaning that when the first time you wash your hands, the emollient properties will sort of go away. But it's also a great way to deliver fragrance, and it also, if you're using it as in an antiperspirant, it can help to reduce odors. But I'm using it mostly for the fragrance delivering properties, as well as then the sheeting and emollient. 4 grams of green tea extract, which is really good for your skin. 2 grams of vitamin E, which I'm using as an antioxidant to help to increase sort of the shelf life of the oils. I have 1 gram of EDTA, which is a chelating and antioxidizing agent. So a chelating agent helps to sort of bind with the metal pieces that might cause your oils also to go rancid. So it will help to keep your oils better for a longer period of time. 2 grams of rosemary, it's ROE, rosemary, boy, what's the OE stand for? Oleoelastin, oleo something, sorry. But that's also an antioxidant to help with the shelf life of the oils. 2 grams of germ oil plus, which is my preservative, and 2 grams of silk amino acids. Now this recipe is also designed to have 5 grams of fragrance, but I do not have any fragrance in here. I'm going to do the lotion, create it, and then basically leave it unscented, and I want to see if I can add the fragrance later. Like after the lotion has set up, I want to try doing that and seeing how that works. So the recipe itself is calculated to have 5 grams of fragrance, but I do not have any in here right now. Okay, I'm going to take these to the stove, heat them up, hold them for 20 minutes, and then we'll be back right after. Okay everyone, we're back. Excuse me. And so we have our water phase and our oil phase that I heated and held for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to add the 2 phases together and start mixing. So I have my water in here, my oil in here. When I mix the 2, you should see the emulsion start to form right away, which we do. Lovely. And I should mention that before I started, I sprayed everything with alcohol just to make sure it's nice and clean and, you know, reduce the risk of all kinds of bad bugs growing in our lotion. Okay, that looks good. Now, if I'm making this just for me, or me and my mom, or whoever, but, you know, I'm not selling it or anything. If I were, I think I would probably dunk everything in a 1% bleach solution first, because 1% bleach pretty much kills everything. Alcohol will do an okay job. You have to let it dry. The drying process is usually what sort of kills off all the bugs. And certainly, you know, heating everything to 75 degrees and holding it there will also kill everything off. But okay, let's see. Okay, we're right around 56 degrees. I have a nice cool breeze blowing in this evening, so this probably won't take very long. But I'm going to stop the video and come back when we're at 50 degrees, just so I don't bore you too much. Okay, so we're right at 50 degrees. It's just starting to thicken, and I changed my mind about the fragrance. I actually added it in. I'm adding peppermint oil. Peppermint essential oil. My mom is coming down tomorrow to make soap, and we're going to make peppermint soap for a friend who's requesting it. But that soap, you know, won't be ready for a while, so I was just thinking maybe it'll be nice to give my mom some peppermint lotion she can take with her. Now that ROE, which is used as a preservative, does have kind of a color, and it has a little bit of a fragrance to it too, like rosemary, but well, you know, the literature says that smell tends to go away. I can still smell it right before I put it in. Let me see if I can still smell it now. All I can smell is peppermint, actually. So that's good. But this does have sort of a creamy color to it. It's not white. Okay. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that after I took out my water phase, prior to putting it in the heat, the water bath, I weighed the container with everything in it. When I took it out of the water, I re-weighed it because some of the water had evaporated, and I replaced that prior to mixing everything together. I have some cool bottles that I got from SKS. So this little sort of, I think they're called Malibu bottles. And then this is a Boston Round. This one's supposed to be about 4 ounces, and the other one's about 8. Although this seems a lot more than 4. Now, because of the cetyl ester, I have read that the cetyl ester can take a longer time for the lotion to thicken. So you're going to have to give it probably an extra bit of time. But you can see this is, right now, this is very liquid, so I'm able to pour it. Perfect. I'm going to leave this cap off just because this is still warm. And I have a little bit left over. I'm going to pour that just into a little plastic cup. And so I'm going to let them sit for a little while, and if they do thicken up in the next hour or so, I'll come back and show you what they look like, or I might have to let them sit overnight. So stay tuned after the break. Okay, folks, so it's about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours later, and so I just wanted to show you kind of the consistency. It's definitely what I was going for, which is a very thin lotion. So if you can see, I mean, it still, you know, kind of holds it, but it definitely sort of is thinner than the last lotion I made. And the ones that are in the jar right now are still thinner than this even. So I think the cetyl esters in it do require, you know, that that you let this sit a little bit longer really before you know what the final consistency is. This is probably still going to get a little bit thicker over the next, you know, 18 hours or so, 20 hours maybe. So, but I'm pretty happy with it right now. I mean, I was going for a really thin consistency, one that just goes into your skin really easily. And so it goes in really quickly. I mean, it's mostly water, so it's like 80% water, you know, but it feels really good. It doesn't feel greasy at all. And just a few seconds of sort of kneading it into your hand, and, you know, a second or two of air drying, and it's pretty much all done and leaves your hands feeling nice and conditioned and moisturized. So Not really a trace of it left. It went in really quickly, and I've put it on 2 or 3 times now, so there's probably a lot on my hands at the moment, but it feels really good. So I really like this recipe a lot. It was kind of what I was going for initially as a really light lotion. The second lotion I did, which I think is called on my videos Lotion Experiment number 3, I've been using that, and I like it, and it leaves your hands with a very powdery feeling, which I thought I would like, and I do like at times, but after using it for a couple days, I kind of wanted to have that, I don't want to call it greasy, but I wanted that lotiony feeling, and with my second one, or that with Lotion Experiment number 3, it leaves your hands just feeling very sort of dry and powdery. It's a very nice feeling, but I found myself just sort of craving this, sort of slightly greasier texture. And so far, this is feeling really good. Nice and light, rubs in very easy. And boy, that peppermint is super strong. So that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna, like I said, this consistency will probably get a tiny bit thicker over the next couple of hours, but it's probably pretty good right now, and I'm really liking it. So okay, comments, questions, leave them below. If you like it, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, everyone.